Every challenge season, I look forward to the trivia challenge days, not just because of the funny answers that people give, but because TJ's laugh always puts a smile on my face. It's always Taylor Swift! Hello and welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on MTV that loves to hand out 5K while they hand out BK. That's right, we're talking about the challenge season 35, Total Madness, episode 10, and in this episode we learn that Rogan had Superman pajamas when he was a kid. Elephants lay significantly smaller eggs than, say, compared to the Komodo dragon and ostrich eggs. And we learned that TJ's mom never actually played soccer. Whoa. But let's start off where last episode left off, and that was coming back from the double women's elimination where Jenna and Kayla lost to Anissa, and Anissa is doing a little happy dance for getting her red skull and putting herself out there on the line. But it made a lot of the guys think, because since it's a men's elimination week, who wants to go in to get their red skull or get the opportunity to get their red skull? Corey wants to go in, Josh wants to go in, Bananas even says that he wants to put himself into the elimination, and so does Wes. And speaking of Wes and Bananas, I'm just throwing this out there. If you are not a fan of either one of these guys, you're gonna have a tough episode to watch, as this is pretty much the Wanana story. Because not only did we get what happened so far in this season with them working together, but we also got a lot of backstory between how their rivalry was in past seasons up to this point. But now, let's go into this week's daily challenge called Thrown Off, which, just by looking at the name, I'm not entirely sure what they were going for because it doesn't make sense. I get that they were doing like a double entendre with words with thrown because they're gonna be holding onto these rockets and you're gonna be thrown off of them. But the way they spelled it is like thrown like a king or queen's throne, which to me, I don't completely understand. Now, if they were all sitting on like what looked to be thrown chairs and then the bottom like broke out from underneath them and they fell into the water, I would totally understand what they're coming from. I'm not gonna go too much more into it. Let's just get into the rules of this daily challenge. It's pretty simple. You're gonna be holding onto this rocket. TJ is gonna ask you a question. If you get it wrong, your rocket will jolt. You'll be able to answer another question, or if somebody gets the question right, they can give you an X, and then if you get 2 X's, you're going straight down no matter if you can hold on or not. If you lose your grip off the first jolt, you are out of the competition. The last man and woman standing at the end of this will get a Burger King feast, will get to bring somebody into the tribunal with them, and also at the end we find out that not only will they get a Burger King feast, they will get 5K in their pocket. They will get 5 Gs. I'm not talking about cell phone service. I think the women got way harder questions than, say, the men. Some of these ones I could not answer for the life of me, and I don't want you guys to make fun of me, but I really didn't know some of these questions. Like the video of the year from the VMAs, I don't ever watch the VMAs, so I thought it was Billie Eilish. The unprovoked shark attacks, I for sure was going to put all my money that it was Australia. It was not. The most consumed meat is pork, apparently, which I thought it was chicken. And the popular dog breed, I was with Melissa saying, yes, it has to be Golden Retriever. For the men's side, I thought it was pretty easy, like the largest population, the fastest mile, highest grossing video game, which, can I just throw this out there? The highest grossing video game, you put 2 video games that were fairly recent and then one that's super, super old and has $1 billion worth of merch out there. Get out of here. And they gave it to Wes. That was such a layup in my opinion. On the women's side, it comes down to Dee and Jenny. And Dee was able to answer her chess question right and then give a jolt to Jenny, who could not hang on and fell right to the water. And Dee was able to stay dry, and she gets into the tribunal, gets Burger King, and gets those 5 Gs. Now it's time for the men's turn, and we had Rogan taking double shots at Swaggy C. TJ saying, hey, who has the most World Cup titles? And Banana said, Dee, your mom. And then he jumped off the rocket. He wants to get thrown directly into the elimination by the house vote, and he wants to go get his red skull this episode, and he wasn't gonna let anything stop him, not even easy trivia questions. It boils down to between Rogan and Wes, and they make a deal. Instead of answering any more questions, they make a deal with each other that if Rogan dropped off, that Wes would bring him into the tribunal, let him eat Burger King, and let him be safe from having to go into the elimination. So Rogan dropped. Wes was happy to be a winner yet again. This is like his 3rd tribunal win in a row, and he gets to be in it with D, his like #1 protege, confidant in the house besides Bananas. At one point though, I thought Wes was gonna do Rogan dirty and not pick him to be in the tribunal, but everybody seems that they could hear them up on those rockets, and because D was the other person in the tribunal, there was not gonna be a chance that she wasn't gonna keep Wes with his word about bringing in Rogan to the tribunal. So let's go back to the house, and before anybody can even get off their like wet clothes or get comfortable, Bananas is telling everybody, I want to be thrown in, whether you're a friend or my foe, say my name at the nomination ceremony. At the nomination ceremony, he keeps saying that. He wants to be thrown in. He tells people, please throw me in, say my name, let me put myself on that board. Corey, who doesn't have the best history with Bananas, has to like sit there and think, like, do I really want to say Bananas' name? And do I want to give Bananas what he wants? Or should we hold back on it? And the Nelson is the same way in the confessionals. And finally, Corey was like, well, we came into the season clean slate, so I'm gonna give Bananas what he wants. And Bananas puts his name on the board, but also puts up Wes's name on the board, possibly foreshadowing what could happen. Let's go over to the Burger King while Wes, D, and Rogan are talking about what they want to do. And Wes was pretty frustrated with Bananas saying that he wants to be thrown into the elimination, that he wants the house to throw him in. Wes won. He wants to go get his Red Skull. He feels as though that it's so late in the competition and so late in the show that there can't be too many more eliminations, and he is worried that this is going to be one of the last times you can go into the elimination. And with him winning, he wanted to be able to pick whoever he wanted, and then he could walk in there. But because Bananas is being thrown in there, and their tumultuous history with one another, and now that they're working with one another and friends, he feels as though that because Bananas throws himself in there, now Wes is going to look like the bad guy. He's going to be wanting to throw himself in there, and if he throws himself against Bananas, it's going to be him blindsiding Bananas, him going back on their word with each other, and it's going to be all on Wes and not on Bananas, so he's frustrated. Now let's go over to the bar scene, and at the bar scene, we had Wes and Bananas being able to talk with one another one-on-one about what happened. And there wasn't a lot of communication happening before the house nominations with how to get both of themselves to the finals with one another. And Wes is like, bro, you throwing yourself in really undercuts what I was trying to do. We should have been working together to help me get into the finals first, get the Red Skull, and then I could have helped you out next time with the guys week. But Bananas is like, it's a solo game. Even though we're working together, it's still a solo game. So we have to do what we have to do. Go into the tribunal ceremony, and Wes is talking to the other two about, hey, I'm probably gonna throw myself in, but we have to pick 3 people to interrogate. So they pick Swaggy C, Corey, and Kyle. Rogan wanted to bring in Josh, but Wes was like, no, I don't want this whole rivalry thing with Josh to come into play anymore. I want to separate myself from that, so let's just bring in Kyle. They bring in Kyle to just mess with him some more. Then they bring in Swaggy C, who Swaggy C is like, I don't care at this point who I go up against. I just don't want to go up against Wes because he's my boy. And then we bring in Corey, who is begging to be plan B, that if Wes doesn't want to be thrown into the elimination against Bananas, please throw me in. I need to go in anyways, and I'm itching to get my Red Skull. Fessy has his Red Skull, Nelson has his Red Skull, I want to go in to get my Red Skull. And so there's a lot of things to be thinking about as we are moving towards Purgatory. And let me tell you right now, we had the biggest build up to this elimination yet. I mean, before we even got to Purgatory, multiple people had confessionals about whether Wes was gonna throw himself in or not, who wants to go in against Bananas and who doesn't. Then we go into Purgatory, and before TJ is even talking about who the tribunal wants to go in, everybody is talking. Nani is talking about how Wes will never put himself in against Bananas since they're working with each other. Corey wants Wes to throw himself in there. Same with Nelson. Kyle doesn't want to be thrown in against Bananas. All this stuff, Wes is talking about whether he wants to go in or not. There's so much buildup to this elimination that it's like, this better be fireworks or it's just going to feel like a complete dud. Wes finally gets to speak after like 2 commercial breaks and 50 different confessionals. Wes says, I'm gonna throw myself in there, let's get this, let's go on. And he goes in to face Bananas in this elimination called Charge the Wall. And this looks like a makeshift modified version of Wrecking Wall, where this is this giant wall like they did in Free Agents, where you had to punch the wall to make holes and walk your way up. However, in this elimination, you're not just trying to make it up to the top. You're trying to find 3 batteries that are hidden in these cubby walls, and what you're gonna have to do is punch, kick, do whatever to make a hole, look inside, dig your arm deep into it, and grab out a battery. The first person to get 3 batteries out of their wall and put it in their station wins, gets their red skull, while the other person is sent packing. Now, there was a lot of talk about how this is very reminiscent to Free Agents and the Wrecking Wall elimination, where Jordan threw himself in against Bananas and lost that one. So there was a lot of talk about, is this the one where Wes would lose to Bananas, even though they both seen the same amount of eliminations and Wes has been better than Bananas in his challenge career and resume in eliminations. And also, there was a lot of buildup that this was the first time that they ever faced each other. No. Champs versus pros, Bananas and Wes went up against each other, and Wes actually won in episode 2, sending Bananas home. So with that being said, they go in there, they're punching the walls, and even Bananas, I have to say, Bananas in his confessional was talking about how this is an elimination where you have to be thorough, that if you're gonna be punching these walls, you have to go full force, open up that wall, look deep inside, because if you just overlook one cubby hole, that could be the mistake you have to cost you this elimination. However, by the close time we get to the end of this elimination, both guys have all the holes opened up and they still hadn't found all 3 of their batteries. Bananas finds his battery first, then Wes finds his first battery. Bananas was able to find his second battery, and then before Wes could get his second battery to his station, Bananas found his third battery, took it over, placed it in his station, and got that win, sending Wes home. And he was very dejected, but Bananas was ecstatic. Everybody was pretty much rooting for Bananas except for D, who was really rooting for Wes. And at the end of this, they were playing Hootie and the Blowfish, as they were talking about how they are more than friends, less than lovers, they're allies, they're finally friends. Their biggest regret in challenge history is not coming together sooner and working together in these challenge games, as they had a blast this season with working with each other, which, if you know their past history in the challenge, there was no way that these two were going to work together at all. With who was in the challenge with them, who were aligned with who, what was the backstory between everybody, and it just would never work out. It would never work out. This is the perfect time that they can now come together, be friends, be open about their friendship. They don't have to stay behind and keep back with this like rivalry, sibling rivalry that they've been putting up with for years and years and years. Now that they can be friends, and if they're on a challenge season together, they can work together. But now that puts a huge target on their back, because they are 2 big names in this challenge game. And if they're always going to be working with one another from here on out, people are going to be eyeing them and going, we need to either split them up or we need to get them out ASAP, put them together. We'll have to wait and see. But they are hugging each other, they're getting touchy-feely to Hootie and the Blowfish, and that's when Wes has to say goodbye, and he is out of here in episode 10. Bananas has his red skull, and now everybody else is wondering when they should go in to get their red skull. But that's it for this week's episode. What did you think about it? Let me know that in the comment section below. What did you think about the trivia challenge? Did you get majority of them right, or were you not getting them right as well? Let me know that in the comment section below. Were you surprised that Wes and D won and brought in Rogan? Let me know that in the comment section below. And what do you think about Wes and Bananas going up against each other? Was this the elimination that you had always dreamed of, them going up against each other, or were you hoping that it was more of a hall brawl, a headbanger, balls in? Let me know that in the comment section below. And were you surprised about who won? And were you rooting for either Wes or Bananas? Let me know that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with more brief histories, top 10s, top 5s, ranking videos, and all that good stuff. Rushmores, all that good stuff. Join me on Thursdays for another challenge review and recap. And join me on Fridays for Tiny Table Talk for the challenge season 35 Total Madness. But until then, peace.